What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're talking snake drafts for the 2021 PGA Championship, our rankings, our picks / reaches, and fades. Craig, a quick snake draft primer. Snake drafts, kind of the traditional fantasy draft format. Everyone knows and loves. You go 1 through 12, back down, you snake around. On DraftKings, you have a three-player option, 6-player option, 12-player contest. And I mean, a little bit of different strategy, basically. So you just did one, so we're going to talk a little bit of your strategy, but there's no ownership concerns. Only golfers can only be drafted once. ADP is followed pretty closely, I've found in the past. So it's kind of a blend between maybe cash and traditional GPP strategies. But you just came off one, so what did you think about the ones for the PGA?
Yeah, I mean, I think those last two, I mean, the no ownership thing is clear. Everyone gets drafted once. You don't have to care how much ownership people have. But it's these last two ones that I think, bear repeating. A lot of people, it's like any other, if you're doing your year-long draft on whatever platform, people look at the rankings and like, oh, like this guy's ranked above him. I feel like I'm kind of going out on a limb, even though those are just random rankings. So, but they are followed fairly closely. I think that you usually, if you're doing a few of them, you'll start to see the people that people will go off rankings for, reach down the board a little bit. But then, though, I think this last one is one of the keys to me, is the blend between cash and GPP strategy. So,
right.
At least when I have done this, which I typically do it in bigger tournaments because I think you get a much better, you're competing against a much better population of people than on major week compared to who's going to be playing on the Valspar champion. You're only going to have the hardcores on those weeks. So a lot of people don't think about the fact you need to have much more of a cash approach where you're trying to get safe players. You don't necessarily need to have all the winners because if you get 6 out of 6, chances are pretty good. Say you're in a 12-person contest, chances are pretty decent that you'll be in the top 3, and so you really are just trying to cash and then to win from there. But you don't need to have a whole bunch of guys who all are like very high upside, but also could easily miss the cut.
Yeah, all of the ball striker types. You don't need to have Keegan and Sergio and Peters all in the same one. That might be a little bit too risky.
Although the one I did just end up with Griot, so
yeah, he fits that bill. So let's take a look at the first round. I'm gonna quickly list these off. These are current kind of Tuesday afternoon ADPs, but I think they're changing all the time. So right now, as they stand, it's JT, Rory, Spieth, Rahm, Bryson, Xander, DJ, Hovland, Morikawa, Berger, Smith, and Reed. Craig, before we get into, actually, let's talk about yours a little bit because you just came off yours and you figured there's 2 optimal spots to draft. So I kind of want to hear that.
Well, just for me personally, I think there's 2. I see kind of essentially 3 tiers to this first round. I see the first tier is, to me, the top 4: Rory, Rahm, JT, and Spieth. And then the next, you could call it essentially sort of an extension of that tier, is Xander, Victor, Bryson, and DJ. So I have I think drafting 8th is an awesome place to be. I think there are 8 really. I'm very comfortable with all 8 of those players. So those are my own rankings of them. But then, so say whoever you would have 8th of those 8 players I've named, you then get down into Patrick Reed or Collin Morikawa or Berger or Webb Simpson, which to me is just, it feels like you're stepping down a tier.
Yeah. So I kind of agree. I think it's top 5. I'd be happy with 5th, any of those top 5 guys. So those top 5 guys, we have the same guys in it, so we don't have to kind of split hairs, but we both have Rahm, Spieth, Rory, JT. You went Xander, and I went up to 2 for DJ. So DJ's a big climber.
DJ is one of the major differences between us.
Yeah. So why Xander? Why not DJ in here?
I mean, I have in my top 4. You mean?
No, just like Xander over DJ, or I can talk about why I have DJ. So basically, I think DJ is still the number 1 player in the world. We're talking about Masters with length.
Oh, and he is. They still have the 1 rank next to him.
He is. So I'm taking a risk. He's in my top 5. If I was drafting 5th and he was still there, I would take him. Same all the way down. But I think in my rankings, he's second. But really, it's a clear 3. Rahm, DJ, and Spieth to me are a clear 3, and I'm happy with any of those 3 in the top 3.
Yeah, so for me with DJ, it's less so, I think there's some people sweating the knee. I don't really have any concern about that. For
Yeah.
me personally, it's more, we haven't really seen great form from him recently. The putter hasn't been great. The problem with DJ, I think, is that he can flip the switch on a dime,
Yeah.
and he can look like he's in poor form, and then he comes out and dominates a field of the best players in the world. But that's where, to me, I have a little bit more of a cash approach, where with these top players, I don't like. This is also why I have Bryson a little bit lower. If I was just picking who has the win equities, Bryson and DJ would both be up higher. But I think of this sort of, call it this tier of 8 players, I think that they
Yeah.
probably have some of the highest miscut equities.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And then so the kind of the middle there, Hovland, Bryson, kind of there. So should we talk from 8 on or from 9 on, basically? From
Well,
9
well,
on, I
first
think is
let
what
me.
should
So
be.
I just did one. I'm going to do a few more before Thursday morning, but I had fifth pick. And so
Yeah.
I actually had Victor Hovland ranked above Xander. And then when push came to shove, I ended up picking Xander. So I really like Victor this week. I would be totally fine taking him there, but had to flip the rankings around just because
Yeah.
when push came to shove, I did take Xander.
Yeah, we're both big on Hovland, so he moves up into 6 for both of us. But I think that the final 4 of these are interesting. So moving out for me is Colin Morikawa and Cam Smith. They're out of the top round for me. Moving in, I got Webb Simpson at 11 and Tony Finau at 12. So it's Berger, Reed, Simpson, and Finau. I feel like a pretty good 4 there, and then try to get someone else. Maybe one of them falls if I was drafting there and get them both kind of in the first wraparound part of the first round. But I moved in Webb and Finau over Morikawa and Smith. So what did you do in the last 4?
So I also moved in Webb, and I had Cam Smith moving out. I like Cam Smith. Cam Smith, tune into our show tonight at 6:30, Tuesday night,
Yeah, for sure.
6:30, or 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. But Cam Smith is in my player pool. I like him as a play this week. He is one of these guys that I like him as a play because of his upside. And I
Yeah.
don't necessarily mean by that, I don't think he has a huge miscut downside, maybe, but I think he maybe has less top 10 equity than some of these other guys. But I do
Yeah.
like
Like
his
a Webb maybe or a
yeah, I
yeah.
think like a Webb or a Berger. I think maybe I don't like him as much to potentially win the tournament, but I think
Yeah.
their chance of top 10 or top 20 is very, very good. So I have Reed jumping up. I think Reed is always or usually shows up to majors. I think he plays well on difficult courses. Both of us have him moving up. I didn't move
Yeah.
Morikawa out as far as you did. I do like the ball striking. I'm assuming it's because of the putter. That's the main reason that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just too volatile. Like you said, you need to go a little bit cash game. I feel like Webb and Finau are a little bit safer. We talked about Finau, 8 of the last 12 majors, he's top 10ing.
Mhm.
I'd rather have that than Morikawa question marks, even though Finau comes with his own question marks, but there's a longer history of success in majors.
Yeah, I'm very comfy with the fee now.
I know that's an ironic statement saying Morikawa won his first one. Finau's looking for that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I gotcha.
Okay, let's move on to your biggest fade or the person you saw the ADP for and you're like, you know what?
I'm not getting there.
Yeah, I'm not getting there. So let's talk about yours, Craig.
Okay, so I'm going Sam Burns. So if you look on their rankings, they have him at 17.7 ADP, which we're talking mid second round. Just for context sake, we had Cantlay. I got Cantlay in the mid second round after picking Xander. Cantlay was down at 20 something. So
Yeah.
Sam Burns, I understand he's coming off a first and a second place, but you know what he did the tournaments before that? He had 3 missed cuts and I think a tied for 39th. So this is his 4th major start. He has, I think, his best finish right now. I don't have it in front of me here, but I want to say it's like a 29th or something. So we've never even gotten a top 20 in a major from him. It just seems, I understand the form. I fully get it. I think that, this is where, like, is he a good cash game play? I don't think so. So then why are we bringing him so far up in the rankings here for the snake drafts?
And interestingly, his price ranking on DraftKings, we talk about that in our picks and sleeper show, it's 35th.
Yeah, so it's a significant, and those prices would have been out before this past week, but even still.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. No, I like that as well. Mine is Mark Leishman. Right now he's 25.6, which is kind of the start of round 2. That doesn't sound right. Now
I
that
started round 3.
started round 3. To me, he's more of the third, fourth round. I feel like he's been playing well, but we're kind of drafting him at where he's been playing well and his ceiling of recent. In that area of like the 2-3 wraparound, there's other guys I'd rather go there. And again, like Burns, he's ranked 32nd in pricing in terms of the traditional tournament long salary. So Mark Leishman is a guy that I certainly wouldn't be reaching for until round 3, I think.
Well, and it's a matter for me. He did go fairly early in the one I just did, but there's a lot of players around him. Like you're looking at the Hattons, at the Caseys, at the I think Answer's been going early, but you're looking at some serious, I think, fairly safe talent around him. I like Leishman this week as well. I'm not getting there that early in the drafts.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of guys we're reaching for.
And I guess just real quick on that, I think Leishman is also, as we get more and more closer to having weather, I think the worse the weather is, I think the better a play he is potentially.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So you mentioned Hatton, Craig. Hatton's the guy I'm reaching for. So right now I saw his ADP at 27.9. That's kind of mid-round 3. To me, I would be happy with him, end of round 2, beginning of round 3, around 20th ranked. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's 9th in the official World Golf rankings. He missed a bunch of cuts in the majors, I think 2020 or 2019, but he's still a top 10 player in the world. His ADP is 27.9. I feel like even grabbing him at 20 still seems like a great value to me. So it's a linksy kind of course, layout, wind. I feel like Hatton can handle all of that. So I like Hatton kind of moving up the board for me in snake drafts.
Yeah, fully agree. I got him in round 3 at the one I just did. I had Xander and then Cantlay in my first 2 rounds, and so I was very happy to have Hatton fall. Essentially, I think basically around where his ADP was where I got him. So I was very happy to see that. The guy I'm going with, Charles Schwartzel. This is to me where I think it's in this range. So he's going mid to late 5th. He's at 56.8, 57-ish. This is to me where I think people are getting a little bit too leaning towards more the GPP plays. So we're seeing, guys like Griot, Keegan Brad. I mean, maybe I wouldn't take him over Keegan.
And also the bombers, right?
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of bombers. We're getting just people who have they do have upside, but I don't see them in any way as safe cut makes. So I see Charles as his play has been consistent. He's been good of recent. He's been good if you look back, further back than just these past couple of years because of the injury. He's been good in majors for a long time. He's got a lot of pedigree. I'm looking at him in round 4. I didn't get him in this draft that I just did, but it was at one of those points where it would have been a reach, and then by the time he went like a pick in front of me when it would have come around to me. So them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks. Well, thank you everybody for watching. If you do want to draft along with us, join our Discord. That's where you can kind of chat with us all the time. Throw a link out for a DraftKings draft. If we're available, we might join and we can kind of draft along together. Links are below for our Discord. Thank you for watching. Make sure to catch our live show Tuesday, as Craig said, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, going through the entire field live. That will be available for replay on Wednesday as well. Good luck this week. See you soon.
Yeah, although if you're really good at DFS golf, then don't necessarily come draft with us because I'd rather have people who are really bad at it. So yeah, look forward to that. See you guys next time.